guys, my name is Katie or Kbdoesart, and today we're gonna be modeling this really unique backpack over here, which was actually recommended by someone in the comments. So thank you for watching my video, and I love when you guys request really unique stuff like this because this is something that I never thought I would challenge myself to model. So um, let's go ahead and start. I think I'm just gonna start with a cube because it looks like a cube basically. And then I think I'm gonna work off this image. So download, I'll probably put a link to my reference in the description. But download this image once you have it. Let's go into the front view and do view, image plane, and then import image. And then just find your reference. There we go. All right, looking good. Um, I'm gonna just move this guy up so it sits on the ground. And then let's click looking through camera so that it's only in the front view and not in our other views. In order to switch between views, you can click space. And yeah. Okay, so for our actual cube, let's change our dimensions a bit to better fit what that's going to be. Let's just aim for 2.5. Let's move it on over. Oh, it's actually a little too big. Let's do 2 then. Oh, close. So let's go into vertex mode, grab those vertices, and just push them on over. And then, let's see, I'm just going to push it up and then adjust the height. That seems pretty close, and then you can just edit the vertices again. Trying to best line them up. All right, and then last thing is just the depth. Oh, actually, that looks pretty good for the depth of a backpack. All right, let's add some division. So hold shift, hold right click, and then go on over to the multi-cut tool. All right, our multi-cut tool we're gonna use a lot. So I think first, let's go into wireframe mode. And then you're gonna wanna hold control and you'll get these fun little rings. So that means that it's gonna like split our thing like fully kind of around the object. So let's make some divisions where these like key lines are. I'm just like left clicking. I'm also going to make some lines up here for the zipper. And then, all right, let's, while holding control, click your middle mouse button and it'll add a middle cut. I'm going to do the same thing on these guys and that one. So that's how many cuts I kind of just threw in real quick. And then I'm gonna middle click again right here just to split that as well, just to get like a quick base of just some multi-cuts for us. And then if you click space and go in here, we'll add like 4 like that, which that's just me literally holding control and clicking the middle mouse button. Okay, so back here, let's click Q. I think like a lot of this kind of stuff you can really just get by a cylinder. It's like if you grab a cylinder and we'll change its rotation to face this way, and then you can just, scale it and move it on over. Yeah, like it'll clip the face in such a way that we can use. So let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and drag it out this way. And then obviously our cylinder does not need to be that large, so you can click R and just scale it in and then push it in. And then if you click 3, let's just make sure that it's rounding out okay. I think I'm going to go into edge mode, click this edge, just double click it, do Control B to bevel it, and then let's click 3. Yeah, okay, let's do 2 segments. And That should be fine. All right, that's good. And then I'm gonna push it in just a tad more. Okay, so we have that one. And then you could just duplicate it and move it. Move it on down. Duplicate is Control D, by the way. Okay, next thing is a triangle. I don't think I've made a triangle before. I think I'm just gonna use a cube. Let's try it out. I don't think I've ever made a triangle before in my okay. So I'm gonna scale it on down. Okay, let's go to vertex mode. I'm gonna grab this vertex and move it and do the same on this side. Trying to make them as straight as possible. And then for these vertices, I think I'm just gonna pull them in and make a little point. Okay. Let's see. Go into object mode. Bring it on out. Oh, looks like a triangle. Okay, so if you press 3 though, it's gonna end up all wonky. So let's scale it down. I want you to select like every edge of this triangle, which I guess you could also just do by literally clicking and dragging. And then do Control B to bevel it, and then do 2 segments at a pretty small fraction. And it should get that. Okay, so let's go into object mode. And then that one's already in position, so you just do Control D and move it down here. Trying to even it out. And then select both of those cubes, and we're just gonna push them into the mesh like that. Okay, so got a couple little details down. Next, I want to kind of help you guys visualize a couple things. First, what we can do is, you see how there's these like really tiny lines like right here? Let's grab our multi-cut tool. You could do that by holding Shift and the left mouse button and then just dragging over to multi-cut. And I'm just going to click and drag. I'm going to hold Control and just click and just put some points here for that black line. And then I'll do the same over on this side. So we already kind of have one there, so that's nice. And then just drag and make a point. All right, so let's click Q. Let's go into face mode. And then I want to select these faces. Oh, go grab your multi-cut tool and let's throw a line here to signify that. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so next I want to just grab these faces. So click Q, go into face mode, and then hold Tab and select these faces. And then you're going to select these guys as well. And then technically, you can delete the faces that are going to be black. So those guys, those guys. I'm just going to add like a really just super quick base color just to get like a better view of stuff. Okay, now that you have that, you're going to hold right click and do assign new material, and then do shader, AI standard surface, and you can just leave it white. And then, oh, looks like I missed this one. So if you miss one, just do assign existing material and do AI standard surface. And then we can go ahead and select the faces that are going to be the thin black line there. Okay, there we go. And then these guys. Do assign new material, shader, AI standard surface, and we'll make this one black, just to make it easy on us. You can assign the same black color to these 3 planes here. And then let's go into object mode and let's do delete history. And then that'll bring these 2 kind of up to the front. Let's name this one white so we don't have to guess. And then the other one's black. Okay, and then we can select these 2 guys and assign that white material. And then these cubes are going to be a new material. And we're going to make this that blue, which you can do by finding that color. Okay, so if you click 7, you can, oh, well, you can't see it yet. Click Arnold and grab a sky dome, and then you can see it. All right, I feel like, okay, apparently I'm modeling this upside down, so that's fine. Here we go. That's good. Okay, so the rest of the faces are, I mean, most of the faces are red. Obviously, as you can see, the sides are brown, and I think the back is just red and white. Yeah, it's red and white. So you can throw a red texture if it'll help you onto the front. But I think first what I want to address are these little metal rings. So we can go ahead and tackle those by, there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could literally grab a torus and form them like that. You could grab a cylinder and push the faces in. You could literally like extrude faces and make a circle. I think like technically the super easy way would be to grab a torus and just do it this way. So I think I'm just gonna do it that way. So grab a torus, change the rotation to be 90 on the x-axis. We'll scale it. And then I think it's pretty close. I think the circle in the middle needs to be a little bigger, so you can change that from the radius and then just scale it down. So I just upped the radius and then scaled it down. And then let's push it on out over here. Obviously, it's got to clip that surface. So you can just kind of decide how much you want to clip it, maybe like that. All right, and then you're gonna just duplicate it and move them around. So Control D is duplicate, and then just click W and move them. Okay, so we've got all those gray loops, which now you can select all those toruses just by clicking one, holding shift and clicking the next. Do assign new material, shader, AI standard surface, and I'm gonna make this like a light gray color, and then I'm just gonna like up the metalness a ton because it's metal, and you can also diffuse the roughness just like a little bit. All right, now we got all those gray rings. What we could do next is the zipper. The zipper is going to be interesting. So like zippers, from my basic understanding of what a zipper is it's like Okay, yeah, it's like a go back and forth kind of cube. So this will be a lot easier to do using mesh networks. So I think I'm going to do that. Let's select all these guys and do Control G and just group them. And you can rename this like metal rings or something like that. Okay, so in order to form this zipper, I'm going to grab a cube and let's push it on up. And let's give it like maybe like 5. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now go ahead and click R. All right, and then press W. Click R. I guess I'm just gonna do them like this small, maybe. So they're relatively long, and then they overlap. All right, now that we got that in place, you're going to click that object, and then we're going to use a mesh editor actually to add all that duplication. So click on this button, it'll create this mesh thing. And then if you go to distribute, we're just going to change that to 1 point and then change that distance to 0. Then in mesh, go to replicator. And I think I'm going to just do like 50 maybe to start. I don't know how many we're going to need. And then let's change the offset position to 0. And then let's grab this object and just do Control H to hide it. All right, there's our little guy. Okay, so click on the mesh under the replicator. We're going to be changing this offset position. Let's see. That's good, but needs to be smaller. Okay, too small. Yeah, that's good. All right, under pattern, it's going to affect every 2. So make sure it's that. It's only going to affect the position, so you can unclick both of those guys. And then we're going to change the Y offset because on a zipper, as you can see, it's the Y changing. And then you could just scale it down to however far you think it needs to be down. Probably needs to be somewhere like 0.2 is pretty good. And then I think if you can get it like even closer together, that would be good. Okay, we're close. Let's get it a little bit closer. There we go. All right. So now we've got this fun crazy zipper pattern. So let's go into face mode. Let's unhide. So Shift H on that object, and then grab your Mesh 1 repro mesh. That's what we edited here. You can click on your mesh network, click on mesh, and then we're going to need to add a transform node. Right click on this guy and do create, and it should create like a locator for you, and then you can click W and move it. And then I hid my image plane, so do Shift H to unhide that. And then you can move that transform locator around to position the zipper. Okay, so as you can see, we only got about halfway there, which means that in the mesh, you're just gonna need to add those extra ones. So looks like 100 is pretty close. Yeah, looks like 104 is about good. So I'm gonna just click that transform locator and just move it in. And yeah, that's about it for the zipper. I'm gonna actually do probably like 103, maybe 102. Okay. As you can see, like my computer is getting relatively slow when I move that. So you want to just save often with this. And then you can select everything and just do edit, delete all by type history, just to give it a little bit of a break. But yeah, so that was kind of like my first little introduction to mesh networks. I've recently started using it a bit more. It's a super useful tool, kind of crazy. Um, let's grab the locator and let's push out our mesh. Is it hidden? Why can't I see it? Oh, it's no longer attached to that. Well, now, okay, I just deleted the locator and now you can just move. So I guess when you delete the history, it'll push that locator off of your mesh. So now you can just click the mesh repro mesh and literally just use that to put the zipper on. Okay. Got the zipper. You'll probably want to like actually center it within that black line right there. Do your best. You can also move this pivot by clicking D and then you can move it to better be on your mesh. Okay. Looking good. You can also assign the metal texture. Click Q and then do assign existing. Oh, I didn't change. Maybe it's that one. Okay, no, this one's the blue one, so label this one blue, and then assign it the other one, which this one is the metal. Okay, so got the zipper. There's a lot of things left to look at. One of those being obviously like the actual thing that zips, this little guy right here. Which I feel like I could just get from an elongated cylinder. So let's grab that, change your rotation to 90, push it on up, scale it on down. Okay, and then I'm just gonna elongate it, press E, rotate it, scale it a little bit. And then I'm gonna grab vertices. I'm gonna grab these vertexes, click R and scale them in. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with these vertices and these vertices. And you can click 3 to kind of see how it's rounding out. Let's click W and bring it on out here. Oh, go into object mode first, then click W, then bring it out. Obviously you can scale it down and just gonna press it like that. Let's go into edge mode, double click both those edges and do control bevel, add 2 segments and make it real tight. There we go. And then I think for that like circle through it, for this specific object, let's do let's do mesh and then smooth. And then grab another cylinder, change that rotation again to 90. You're going to click R and just scale it down, bring it on up. Well, I'm going to use this cylinder to cut a hole through our piece here. Okay, so let's go into front view and I'm going to try and like line it up, scale it the best I can. Looks like it's about like that. I'm also pretty sure that like the zippers have 2 holes. Oh, this one only, oh, well, it has 1 and then it has 1 up here. So we'll do a circle for this one and then we'll do a square on the top. So I guess I'm gonna elongate it a little bit and scale it and then I'll just go like that. Okay, let's see how that's looking. Looks pretty good. You can also make it a square. I see that some are squares, some are circles. So kind of up to you. I'm just going to click R and just scale this a little bit more. And then I'm going to move it down, scale it. There we go. Okay, so now this is the important part. You want to make sure that that cylinder is like perfectly going through this piece. You can even make it longer if you need to, but it needs to perfectly go completely through. And then let's click the zipper, click the piece we're going to cut out, and you're going to do, I think it's mesh. Yeah, mesh booleans, and then you're going to do difference. And it should just make a little guy like that. All right, so we can do the next part is going to be, I guess, like a weird elongated square. So just grab a square, bring it on up, scale it down, move it, and we're going to have to rotate that. You can go into the front view and play with it here. Okay. So I feel like maybe a little bit too big. Maybe like that. Yeah, that should be good. All right. Maybe like that. Okay. So once you've got that, you're going to do the same process. You're going to make sure that this cube is like perfectly clipping through all the way. And then you're just going to click the object, click the cube, edit mesh, or mesh booleans difference. And it'll have a cut in it. All right, so there is our zipper, which we can just move that on over. It's going to hang here. There's also a part to the zipper that looks like this part. So we're going to form that. It just looks like kind of an elongated cylinder. So let's grab a cylinder and change the rotation to 90. And we're going to scale it down, move it on up, and push it this way. I'm going to scale it down a bit as well, since it doesn't need to be that big. And then I'm just going to grab these faces and move them up. And then grab these bottom faces and just scale them in a little bit. That looks pretty good. And then you can do edge and double click those edges and bevel them, add 2 segments. You can make them relatively small. Okay. And then let's rotate that guy, scale it down a bit, and push it on down. It's going to be connecting to the zipper since it's technically like on the zipper track. Let's see what our image does. Okay, so it looks like the big part should be facing this way. So it'll be resting on the track like that. And then this guy will connect to it like this, basically. Yeah. Oh, let me like center that a little bit better. Okay, there we go. And then there is technically like a connection between these two. Let's grab these faces, do Control E to offset them, and bring them in, and then click face mode and grab, let's do these faces, maybe those like 3. And then we're going to do mesh, edit mesh bridge. And then that seems good. The taper's fine. If you go to this mode, looking for a curve that's going, aha, there it is. So you see how there's like a line going through here? That's the curve. And I want to do probably control vertex. And you can see like the vertices of the curve are like literally following along. Select the like curve points, kind of move them out like that. Because I'm just trying to give it like a bit more space so that this piece can fully like fit under it. That might work, especially if you take this object and scale it in a bit and then push it up. We're getting closer, I would say. Yeah, actually, I think that kind of works. You can kind of look at how much clipping you want. So like there is a lot of clipping here. And then you can edit that curve. Again, you got to kind of like find the curve and you're trying to right click on the curve. And then you're trying to do control vertex. So you can grab the vertices and bring it on out. So you can see that's kind of changing here. Okay, that looks better. Now it's not clipping as much. So that's good. And then we can just look at that here and kind of change where it goes. Obviously you don't want a ton of clipping though, so you know, it's kind of up to your discretion, but I think probably something like that's pretty good. All right, how fun. I've never made a zipper before. Okay, cool. So zipper on that side is done. Let's go into this side view and go into vertex mode. And then let's grab these vertices and push them up, and then grab these guys as well and push them up. I'm just trying to give like a little bit more curve on my backpack. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Okay. Also some like really easy things that you can do if you just want to do them now. We can make that handle. So what I would do is get the multi-cut tool and let's make a multi-cut that looks about like that. So these two will be our squares. You can also just go into edge mode and like take an edge and move it. That works totally fine as well. Okay, so for the faces, you're just going to select the two faces that are going to be your handle here, and you're going to do mesh or edit mesh bridge. And then we've got our cute little guy. You can taper it to be a little, different. You can also add some twist on it. It's kind of fun. You don't have to do like a ton, but you can. And then let's see. I think I like that. Okay. And then I want to do the same thing where I find that curve. There we go. The curve is a little bit more evident that. There's that line. Let's do control vertex, and then you can select the points, click W, and push them. Just to make that guy a little bit taller. Okay, so we've got our handle now. Also, technically, it looks like it's a little off-centered. So I would just probably like select these faces and maybe just like shove them over a little bit. Okay. You can also make the straps pretty easily. what I would do for the straps is it looks like it's this black line going through and then it's like a red strap that's attached to that. So that I would consider as like two different portions. Um, so you can do the strap as maybe, let's see which face we want to do. Maybe like these two faces and these two faces. And then you can do edit mesh bridge, so you get that guy going. And then you can also edit the taper on that one to make it thinner if you want to. I don't really think this one needs any twist, so you can leave that. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side, so I would just grab these two faces. I'm going to scale these guys in just a little bit before I do it, and then do edit mesh bridge to get that curve. And then as for the like red part, so go into this side view and I would just like click and drag to get the faces that you want. Double check you didn't grab any extras and then just do Control E and let's just like up the thickness on that. Then you could just click R and then I would just like flatten them out a bit so it's a little more precise. And then I would just grab this edge and bevel it. I would grab these edges on both sides and just bevel it automatically and just do two segments and make them a little flat. All right, we've got the straps to our backpack. How fun. Also, if they're like too far out for you, remember you can just find that curve, select them, push W and just move them on in. And then you can do the same thing on this one. Just push them on in. Yep. Okay, so let's tackle the issue of um the next zipper. So I think I'm going to do this by a curve. So if you clicked on curves and surfaces and then grab your pencil tool and then go into this front facing view, I'm just going to like draw a curve kind of just going down. And then you can right click, click Q, and then you can right click on that curve and do Control Vertex. And then you can like select points and move them in. So just gonna push those guys in to make them hug that backpack a little bit better for us. All right. We can also edit this later, so it doesn't need to be like perfect right now, but you know, just give it your best shot and try and get it as close as possible to our current line here. This one will be like our highest point. And then, of course, our ending will be around there. All right. That's pretty accurate, so we'll just go off of that for now. Okay, so I also think this might be too far down. I think it only goes like here, so. Okay, so we got our curve, so that's cool. You can grab that curve and move it on over to the side, so that it's here. Also what you can do is you can bring it out and up so that we can like edit it without being on the backpack, and then we'll add it on the backpack later. But we're going to take our previous cube and duplicate that and just bring it on out. So my main issue with this cube is that it's, Shift H to unhide it. The main issue is that it's going vertical, which this zipper is not. So we're going to want to rotate that Z axis. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the whole mash thing. So go to mesh, add a mesh system, go to distribute and just make it 1 and turn down that distant X. Then add a replicator node, and I guess I'll start with like 250. And then you can make that Z position 0. When we do our replicator, the offset should actually be on the Y because it's going vertical. Okay, I don't think that was enough. Yeah, I guess we could do maybe 0.15. It's looking pretty good. And then the position will be offsetting the X, which should be, let's say, maybe a little bit further, 0.2. Okay, so now you can see we've got a vertical zipper, which actually almost looks like the length, which is really cool. Next, we're going to add a curve node. And then I want you to hold middle mouse button, click on the curve, and then drag it on over. And so it should connect it. It'll look a little wonky at first. You're going to turn step up and turn animation speed down. And then let's go to the replicator. Let's see, let's change the offset position to 0. All right, that's looking better. I don't quite see I see the pattern offset. Let's bring down the amount. Let's grab the cube and click E. I'm going to rotate it to get into place. That looks better. Let's add the pattern offset 0.02. And then in order to make it get a little bit closer, I think we might just need to add some more in. So let's try like 200. Okay, I think I like what 280 looks like. All right, so we got a zipper going all the way up. So that's kind of cool. That was all just using Mesh Network. You can do Shift H to show the backpack again, and then you're gonna just take your curve and click W, and you can just move the curve wherever you want. So obviously, like move it down, and then you can kind of see how the zipper is looking on your backpack, and then you can go through and edit the curve points to better clip the backpack. All right, so that's looking good. You can add, well, you can select everything first and just do edit, delete all history, and then of course save it because it's a good point to save. And that mesh, you can go ahead and apply our metal texture to it. You can also apply the metal texture to our other piece of our zipper. And then I'm going to just duplicate that, and we're going to use it down here. So press E, rotate that, let's move it on up, and then you can just move this piece to clip on the bottom. All right. All right. We've finished the zippers. I would consider the zippers one of the hardest parts. So once you get that done, it's like all nice, smooth-ish sailing from here. Let's see. We're gonna probably deal with some texturing a little bit later. I would say the next part that I think would be just like a little tedious is just forming all of those bridges that are going to be the shoelace. Not really hard. It'll just take a little bit. I kind of think I'm just gonna do that by creating maybe like a torus and then just like stretching it out. So let's grab a torus, scale it down. Let's make the radius bigger like that. And then I want to change the rotation to be facing. Yeah, let's do 90 on the X and then 90 on the Y. So it's like that. And then let's push it over here. So as you can see, when you clip it, it actually looks like a relatively um, uh, shoelace-ish shape. I'm also going to just scale this and just like flatten it a little bit, and then you can kind of scale it out a little bit. But yeah, that's what I'm going to use for the shoelace part. So it looks like a lot of the shoelaces are going into this like middle region. So I'm just going to push it here, scale it, and then rotate it. And then I think it needs to be a little bit longer, so we'll do that and then push it over like that. Also, I'm just going to assign the white tutorial to it real quick so it has a good contrast against our gray background. Okay, so I'm going to just duplicate and move those around since that's kind of all the shoelaces are doing is it's just like they're just duplicated and then they're like scaled in at some places and a little bit smaller. All right, all my shoelaces are in place now. I think what I want to do now is I want to select just the faces of the backpack, and then I want to deselect all of these white and black faces that I've already textured because I'm going to make these guys, make the rest of them red for our backpack. All right, just make sure you didn't miss any, like these little guys. And then you're just going to do assign a new material, AI standard surface, and just change it to a red. This is a pretty deep red, so don't make it too bright. Okay, now we've got our red. Of course, these faces for our handle would be black. So we can edit that, just select those faces, and you can just assign it to that black texture. And then let's change this texture to be called red. And then it looks like also these faces should be black as well. So just select one holding tab and then double click the next one. Hold tab, select one, double click. I'll do those two. All right, and then let's do the bottom as well. Okay, and then just assign that black texture to it. All right, looking good, kind of exciting. I also noticed that like I want to take this edge. Actually, let's just add a multi-cut. So grab your multi-cut tool and let's just make a multi-cut going relatively down that like center. You can attempt to do one on here and then just double click this edge and just like move it over. But what I'm trying to do is I want to make a crease here almost using this edge. Since you see there's like a crease in our like little thing there. So just select this edge and then just push it on in. You can also extrude it and push it in, but that doesn't really do too much. That's fine. Okay. Now we got a little crease. You can technically do the same on the other side if you want to. And then I'm pretty sure, try to find like a picture of the back. Okay, the back. It looks like the white goes all the way down. So go grab your faces and select these guys going all the way down. All right, Now those are white. And then, of course, these side faces should be, I guess like they're the bottom of the shoe, so like a dark brown. Or you can make them black. I guess I'll probably just make them a dark brown. Also, if you don't feel like texturing yours, you don't have to. I usually just do because it helps me visualize the mesh. But yeah. All right. Make that brown. I see that this is like clipping, so I didn't want to move that over a little bit just so it's not like right on top of that. Also, I'm realizing that these needs to be white, these faces down here. So select those and make them white. And then the same happens on the top over here. Let's grab our multi-cut tool and we're going to make a couple more multi-cuts. That one I just made by middle clicking. Let's also click Q and grab this edge and move it up because that should be a bit thinner there. Same with this one. Except you can push it down. Yeah. Also, these guys, these faces, should be red because the black should cut off nicely there, just like it does here. Let's grab these faces right here and make those guys white. And then let's grab our curve and I want to push that over, which you can also grab our cylinders and press W and just push it. Because it should be on the white instead of on the red. Okay, that looks good. Go ahead and save it. And then you can select everything and just delete your history. And then I'm just going to group a couple things. I'm going to group all the laces and you can retitle that laces. You can also group this to be, it's the vertical zipper, which the curve should go in there too. So let's put the curve in there. And then I'll make this one as well. The horizontal zipper. All right, you can also group these to just be like decorative circles or something like that. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we got ourselves a little bit more organized because these are going to get a little mixed up. So make sure, let's rename our mashes to be horizontal zipper and we'll do vertical zipper so we don't get our mashes confused because we're going to do a couple mash networks for the seams. So let's grab a torus. That's not a torus. There we go. Let's change the radius to, I don't know, like 2, I guess. Scale it down. Let's bring it out here. Scale it. It's going to be so, like, if you can picture, like, what I'm trying to do here. So, like, basically, if I was to clip this in, like, that is a piece of string. Like, that's the seam. That's the string. So, like, they're going to be small. There we go. Maybe like that small. We can also look on here and even like make it smaller here. All right, actually I feel pretty good about that size right there. All right, why don't we just, I guess we'll do this bottom line first. Why not? So we're gonna do the same thing. Let's add a mesh network. And we're gonna do distribute. We're gonna make it just 1. Make that distance 0. And then do replicator node. And I don't know, let's like start with 50, I guess. I don't know. You can make that Z position 0 because we're going to be offsetting the X. Let's hide this, Control H. Now, let's change that offset to like, I don't know, I guess 0.01. Okay, definitely more. 0.2. Okay. 0.5. Oh, actually, 0.5 feels pretty good there. But I think I have too many. Because if you unhide our main backpack, it's too long, I think. So instead of 50, um, let's just do, I guess, like 25 first. Okay. So next, we're going to need a transform node to move it. So add a transform, and then you're going to create a locator, and then you can press W and move it. Oh, there we go. It was like the perfect amount. All right. Let's position that. Let's see, where's our line? Okay, actually pretty close. You're gonna push it all the way to the edge. All right, and then let's just double check. We're gonna clip it. I think the scale is a little weird. So if you click on the original torus and click R, you can scale them. Okay, that looks better. And then you can select that repro mesh and you can make it our white texture too. That way it contrasts a bit. All right, so that's one line. There's looks like a couple more on the top. Maybe 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, okay, so if you duplicate this mesh, technically you could use this. Which you can just move. I'm gonna try and get it like there's gonna be one in the middle. All right, and then you can duplicate that again, move it, rotate it, push it in, and then we got one more on the top, which is pretty close over here. All right. Cool. So got those going for us. Actually, I think I'm going to move this a bit more up. All right. Looking good. All right, so I think next what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make like a quick little plane to go in here, which I'm just gonna do by grabbing a sphere and rotating that and just like squish it. I know, not exactly the most clean way of doing it, but I really don't want to make multi-cuts that look like that. All right, and then obviously this guy is black, so you can just change that color. All right, to get that little black line, I really just think I'm just going to do the exact same thing, which is just scale a cube and just attach it quite literally. All right, so last thing we got to do is just add the rest of the seams, and that's about it. If you don't want to add the seams, you can just go to Arnold Render and just kind of see how it's looking. You'll probably want to tweak some of the textures, but it's looking pretty cute. I've never modeled anything so dynamic like this, so this one's been really fun actually. I like this one. I would add in like a plane and scale that guy up. Assign a new material to it and just make that like the checker texture just to kind of see it like sitting somewhere. Oh, it's so cute. All right, so I'm gonna finish up the seams because I think that'll help kind of tie it together. All right, so let's first do the curve. So go into front-facing mode and just go to curves and surfaces, and you're going to draw a curve to the best of your ability. And then click Q, do control vertex, and, you know, edit them to the best of your ability to fit that guy. Okay, looking good. So at this point, let's grab that torus that we previously used and duplicate it. And we're going to apply another mesh network. And then same thing, do one distribute. You're going to add a replicator. Maybe, I don't know, I guess try 25 out. You can change that position down as well. Remember to do that on distribute too. You got to make that 0. And then for this one, you want to add in, actually, let's edit this. So this is just like the normal horizontal stitches. And then this will be the curve stitches as well. Okay, so for the curve, we're going to add a curve. And then you're going to take our curve and throw it into there. And turn the step up, turn the animation speed down. And then we can, let's see, take our curve and move it so it's clipping it. Actually, that looks great. So we can just duplicate that and move it to be that curve. The only thing is for this one, it technically should be bigger, so I would just like scale it up. And then you can take both of those guys, duplicate them, do E, rotate them, move them on up, and then just edit them separately. Good, and then this one. Okay, looking good. You can see them there. And then obviously just push them in so they're not, you know, super far out. Same with this one. Oh, I think this one I pushed too far in. Okay, that's better. All right, and then the last thing is just those the squares. So some square stitching happening here, which will basically just be 2 horizontal lines that we'll just copy and paste. So, all right, let's first combine, let's see, this guy, this guy. Those are all our curved stitches. Ugh. All right, and then let's take, let's see, should be those guys. Okay, should be good those guys. You can group those as well. And those guys are the horizontal long stitches, a little different. I can never spell stitches correctly. Okay, and then I'm just gonna group those and just, or I guess it's these guys. There we go. These are the black accents. Okay, let's grab that torus from here, duplicate it. You can bring it out here though. I think I can bring, there we go. Apply a mesh network to it. Okay, distribute, make it 1, turn down that distribute, add a replicator node, and I don't know, make it like 10 maybe. It's pretty small. And then let's hide that. Okay, there we go. There's our, okay. Let's turn the position replicator on that position down and then maybe do like, I don't know, 0.1. Oh wait, duh, we need replicants. I don't remember what I made the other ones. 0.01? 0.05? Oh, 0.05 seems fine. Okay, and then we're going to add a transform node, connect one, create one, and then we're going to move it. You can unhide the beginning cube. And then let's go into the front view. And let's see, I think 10 might be too much. Yeah, it does look like too much because it goes to like here. So really, we only need like 8. So you'll just change that to 8 here. And then move it. And then duplicate it, move it. Oh, actually, don't. I just duplicated the locator. Duplicate the actual mesh, then move it. And then you could take both of them, duplicate them, and move them on over up there. These guys seem even smaller. Okay, weird. I don't know why they're like significantly smaller. But I guess you can just scale them. All right, that's fine. And then I'm gonna scale that guy up a little bit and just move him like that. So you can see like as I scale it and move it up, it gets a little bit closer to this higher mark. That's what I'm trying to do. Doesn't really matter if they overlap or anything. I'll do the same thing on this one. So, oh, actually this one has a curve attached to it. So then on this one, what you want to do is you're going to edit curve 6. You're going to do control vertex and you're going to take this guy and you're going to move it all the way down. All right. That looks good. So we can combine those guys as, I guess, those are the like small horizontal stitches, technically. This is the first time I'm being very specific about what I'm like naming stuff. There's just like a lot of stuff in this project, so you want to really try and like get that down. Okay, so now what I would do is select the stitches and assign them the white texture. And then really all we need to do now is just look at it. All right, this one was really kind of crazy. I've never done anything so intricate like this. This one's definitely going to be a longer tutorial, so um, yeah. What you can do now is just like delete all the history. Obviously like save your project so you don't lose it. I think I might like also group everything together. You could technically group everything. Let's see. What I might do is like duplicate it, group it, and then you'd be able to like move it and maybe like show the back like that. But yeah, that's about it for this tutorial. This one was a bit longer. I'm trying to make my tutorials a little bit more in depth, a little bit more different. We don't get to do a lot of tutorials like this. So I hope you really enjoyed it because I did. So yeah. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.